Really sure.
Thank you for joining us, Joanne Young with CP Insider. Joanne Young is the author of a new book, Growing with Grace. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm happy to be here.
Great. Well, I really like this book because it has a different approach to pregnancy than most pregnancy books. So I wanted you to jump in and tell us a little bit about your book and why it's so different.
It's entirely different. It was sort of a funny story. I used to be a director at a summer camp up on an island in Lake Erie. And I got up one morning and I was anticipating, 200 kids at breakfast and what was I going to do for the day, and jumped in the shower. And while I was in the shower, this idea just popped into my head. Strange time, a little divine intervention, I think. And I started thinking about nobody has ever done a book from the perspective of a fetus. And I thought, how fun is that? What a great idea. And needless to say, I was kind of busy with 2,000 kids coming through during the summer. But I sat down and I started doing some research and saying, has anyone ever done this? And I couldn't find anything. And I thought, oh, this is just great. So I started working on it. And then it got put aside because of jobs and, everything that happens in life. But after I retired, I said, I'm going to pick up Grace again and I'm going to get to work on it. And I have a very good friend since junior high who has always wanted to be a children's book illustrator and is just a great artist. And so I sent her the pages and I said, do whatever you think, I trust you. And she just did a fabulous, fabulous job. And I'm just real tickled with the whole thing. It's my baby. It's
It's a wonderful baby.
Thank
I
you.
like that it's so personal. When you're looking at the book, you see the fetus has a name, Grace, which is why it's growing with Grace. And you see,
And in Grace.
and in Grace, yes.
Yes.
And and also, you see like feelings that the baby is having, just excitement and wanting to meet the parent that, the mother that she's growing inside of. And I was wondering, what benefits do you see in thinking about pregnancy from maybe more of a spiritual perspective, because the fetus is being encouraged by God and the angels, and an emotional perspective versus the scientific method that you always see in most pregnancy books?
I think it's really sad the way it's portrayed nowadays. I get so upset with the abortion industry, and I will call it that because I think it's a lot about money,
Mm.
that we're sort of just throw away. We throw away everything in society nowadays. Our phone doesn't work, we toss it. We don't want a baby, it's not convenient now, we get rid of it. And I just cannot even imagine that. It's not just a something in a petri dish. This is a living, potentially, who knows what the potential is. In fact, I'm working on a second book about abortion called Potential Denied, but that's another story. Anyway, I just think that I can't even imagine ever doing that. It's not something I could ever even consider. And yet people do it every day without giving it any thought at all. And I think, and I didn't think of this at the time. In fact, at the time, it never even occurred to me that Grace could be the least bit controversial. And when I thought of it, I went, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, people would see that as controversy. Um, but I think that's a good thing. Let people realize that this is a real living being and can feel, and then of course with God and the angels, because I absolutely positively believe that my angels are with me all the time and guiding me and helping me, and the little voice that's always on your shoulder saying you should or shouldn't do this. I don't always listen. I should, because they're always right.
I think we're all working on that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that I just think that the Grace can come at it from a different angle, that maybe somebody will pick up the book and go, oh, okay, this is really something. So yeah.